there, Sherry Schreiber of GettingBetter.com. And I know I've called this the Naked Truth channel, but it might more commonly become known as the bathrobe monologues, because that's usually what I'm wearing when I'm talking to you. One of the advantages and drawbacks of having been self-employed and working at home for so long. So, there's so many things I want to talk to you about, and my software, this webcam, has been unfortunately somewhat derailed. You can see in the lighting and brightness and so on and so forth. I have no more control over my settings since upgrading to Windows 10, which I despise, but I'm working my way through it. I want to talk to you a little bit about feelings today. Those dark, icky, ugly, scary, what you've always come to think of as negative feelings. Sadness, grief, envy, jealousy, depression, emptiness. Those feelings. In trying to help people that I've worked with over the years overcome their fear of these feelings and not try and outrun them, avoid them, drink them away, eat them away, fuck them away, go work out until they're exhausted away at the gym. I urge them to think about these darker emotions that they've judged their entire life as bad and wrong, as the unwanted relatives that are coming to visit you. The unwanted we've all probably got somebody in our family. Could be a sibling, could be an uncle, could be an aunt, could be a parent, who's just obnoxious to us. We just think of them as obnoxious. We hate having them around. And I want you to think of these darker emotions, okay, as those unwanted relatives. Now, we're going to think of them in our mind's eye as they're coming to visit you. They're knocking on your door to gain entry. And you don't want to open that door, but you're going to, because this is about developing emotionally, doing feeling work, starting to adapt and adjust to these feelings and not judge them at all and not analyze them at all and not try and assign meaning and reasons to them. So you stay in a state of perpetual mental masturbation about them and really never help them shrink at all and never gain emotional growth. Unwanted relatives. So here they are banging on your door and you're going, oh, I don't want to let them in. Oh, no. I mean, that cousin of mine is so obnoxious. Can't even stand to have him around. But you're going to open the door and you're going to say, come on in, take a seat. And you're going to sit down. And you're going to start deep breathing and self-soothing. And I talk about self-soothing techniques and deep breathing techniques, heavy breathing, in one of my other much earlier videos. And I'm going to be going over that again today with you. So here you are with this unwanted relative at your door. And now they're sitting in your living room. And you're going to just try and tolerate them being there. Just try and endure their presence. Okay? just like you would an obnoxious relative. Let's say you're invited to a wedding and all your family's there and all distant relatives are there, and there's one obnoxious relative or two or 10 are showing up at this event, and you do your best to avoid them, but at some point you may have to have contact with them. So, okay, so these unwanted, nasty, obnoxious relatives are sitting in your living room, and you're starting to deep breathe. Remember, in through the nose, unless your nose is stuffy, and then you can breathe in through your mouth. Fill up your entire body cavity with oxygen, and slowly, in a very controlled way, we're letting this out a tiny bit at a time. As if you're underwater, you've taken a big deep breath, and you want to stay underwater for a while, so you don't want to let that oxygen out too quickly. You're going to slowly, gradually allow that air to escape. Okay, so deep breath into your groin, all the way down to your groin, your nether regions. We're not letting that air come out as fast as it wants to. It wants to come out, because it's turning into carbon dioxide inside your body. Not going to let it come out so fast. Going to keep that oxygen in the brain longer. Helps ground you, helps center you, helps you tolerate this discomfort. I've always thought of my breathing methods and techniques as a kind of emotional Lamaze methods. You know how when you're training to have a baby and you go to Lamaze classes to do natural childbirth, at least that's your intent. They teach you how to breathe, how to pant through the pain, etc., etc. I'm doing the same thing. This is just emotional Lamaze methods, you might think of these as. And they're just helping you endure the pain, tolerate the discomfort in your body. The mind is switched off at these times. You are not thinking at all. You are not making pictures of your pain. You are not trying to find reasons and excuses for your pain. You're not trying to put meaning to your pain. You're just feeling it in the body. This is your core pain. It's been there lifelong, most likely, since you were a baby, just a little baby. So we're learning how to tolerate it now. And learning how to tolerate it and doing this numerous times over and over and over again is what dismantles your fear around these emotions. And it helps you take the judgment off them, because you start to realize these are just natural, normal human emotions. Everybody has them. and it dismantles a lot of addictive impulses and reflexes that you've lived with. To go reach for something to self-medicate that pain. Shove it down with food, masturbate it away temporarily, drink it down with alcohol. And in dispelling the fear, dismantling the fear around these sensations, these emotions that are just human, natural, normal feeling states, you begin to tolerate them more easily. And like I said in one of my recent videos, it's kind of like, here comes that feeling again. Oh, damn, my unwanted relative is banging on my door to get in. But I know how to self-soothe now. Now, if you'd gotten the kind of soothing you needed as an infant when you looked lost, forlorn, scared, sad, and somebody in your household noticed that, actually noticed it, if they could have just picked you up, and then we're talking about pre-verbal times here. We're talking about before you had vocabulary, you could speak and tell somebody about your pain or articulate it somehow. If they could pick you up and hold you in their arms and rock you and just hold you close and let you feel their warmth, and they were comforting you with their voice, saying, "It's okay, I love you, I'm here for you. whatever it is, it's going to work out. I'm here for you. It's okay. You're safe. You would have grown up being able to tolerate your difficult feelings, not judge them as bad or wrong, not kept putting them away and running from them as fast as you can by staying too busy or becoming a compulsive fixer, rescuer, caregiver, guide, teacher, whatever, therapist, whatever, to distract from those sensations that you are having. And you'll be a whole and healthy and sound and well human being, not a human doing. So what I did in my practice basically was I just taught people how to stay in their body and feel their feelings and not go into their head about it. Not at all. That was not tolerated here by me. Oh, the tendency is very strong, especially if you're working with clients in their 50s and 60s. I mean, they've been doing this for decades, since they were like 2 years old, trying to put meaning and reasons to their pain. It's really kind of a tough and challenging job to dismantle that reflex in people. And I just tell them, as I said in one of my other videos, look, I don't do that kind of work. If you want to do that kind of thing, go find yourself a psychologist, because they love climbing on board with you to analyze your feelings. Go searching for meaning to give those feelings. I don't do that kind of work. That's not my work. That's not up my alley. That's not what I'm here to help you do. I'm here to help you develop a threshold for tolerating those feelings, overcoming your fear of those feelings, your dread of those feelings, so that you don't act out around them and cause yourself even more pain. And at the same time, we're helping you develop emotionally, because you can't develop emotionally if you're dissociated and disconnected from your emotions. Your emotions are parts of you. They're major parts of you. They represent thousands of facets of you. So if you're disconnected from certain emotions, you're disconnected from all emotions across the board. Because when you kill off certain emotions, like envy, anger, rage, sadness, depression, jealousy, whatever you judge as a wrong emotion, and that you think you shouldn't be feeling it, you're going to flatline all emotions across the board. It's just the way feelings work, unfortunately. It's kind of a black or white issue, I'm sorry to say. You kill off several feelings that you were taught as a child that were unacceptable and bad and wrong to entertain. All feelings lose their vibrancy until one day you're kind of an empty shell of a person walking around going, why do I feel dead inside? Why do I feel empty inside? Am I even here? And you engage in all kinds of self-destructive acts to bring about painful consequences for yourself so you can feel something rather than nothing. Now, I talk about the core void in all of us who grew up without adequate, loving, responsive parental influences. In my article, Do You Love to Be Needed or Need to Be Loved? It's always at the very top of my articles page at gettingbetter.com, because it's my keystone article. I mean, it speaks to core injury. I mean, directly to it. And my book, which will be coming out soon with the same title, Do You Love to Be Needed or Need to Be Loved, is an expanded version of that online article. It's actually, it goes to greater depths with these issues. And I throw in a little personal stuff there too. But that's my keystone article. I mean, that's the stuff that everything on my website just about emanates from. It's the same stuff that drives personality disorders. Is these core injuries in us. It starts in the first weeks of life. Just tragic. So think of your darker emotions, these ones that you have always judged as wrong and bad, or I shouldn't be feeling that, and you're talking yourself out of, as your unwanted relatives. You're just going to tolerate them. You're going to practice tolerating them. Just deep breathe, self-soothe. Remember this, rubbing the body where it's hurting. And you do this for 2 minutes at a time. 2 minutes at a time. I'm not asking you to sit around your house all day and do this stuff. I'm asking you to tolerate them for 2 minutes at a time. Time it on your clock or your watch. It has a second hand. 2 minutes is all we need you to do at a time. Then if you want to distract yourself by going to the gym, working out, watching some Netflix, watching more YouTube videos, go ahead and do that. Distract yourself. If you want to run to the kitchen and shove food down your throat to distract from that inner pain, after you've deep breathed for 2 full minutes into that pain and kept the mind turned off, it's completely shut down during this time of self-soothing. You can do that. How did I come upon this? Well, many years ago, I was seeing a counselor. Yeah, she was pretty good. And she said, Sherry, during one of our sessions, when you start to engage in these self-destructive behaviors, like shoving food in your mouth, when you start to feel bad or empty or whatever, I want you to stop that reflex, to stop the compulsive behavior and sit with whatever thoughts, memories, or feelings are coming up for you in that moment. Just sit with them. Well, to me, that was too much brain activity. But I did it. At the time, I did it. And, as I'm heading to the kitchen to shove something in my mouth, because I was a compulsive eater for really a lot of years, most of my life, in fact, I decided to sit on my sofa and just see if I could stand to live with those sensations. And I swear to you folks, I thought I was going to die. I literally thought I was going to die. I was sure I was going to die. Now, I don't know how many moments I sat there on my sofa rather than heading for the kitchen to do what I normally did when I started to feel empty or sad or upset or whatever. Can't tell you how many minutes I was there, but I was certain I was going to die. Well, I think what was dying was the false self, the ego, to some extent. Maybe the defenses that I had at the time got a chance to die off. But I can tell you that when I got finally through that dark, dark, scary tunnel and I emerged from it, I was shocked that I was still breathing. I was alive. I was just shocked. And that, my dears, was a real turning point for me. And that's what I knew I had to help clients do when they were working with me in my consulting practice. I had to teach them how to do this. That little episode, incidentally, forever changed my relationship to food. Really did. It also forever changed how I got into relationships with men. Radically shifted it. Just that one little exercise. Hard to believe, really. But that was a real turning point for me. And I started doing my own feeling work from there on out. Now, this counselor hadn't told me about the deep breathing part. she she hadn't offered me that part of the tool. And if she had, I'm sure that episode would have been a little less terrifying for me, because that extra oxygen to my brain would have ground me in my body and centered me a little bit and helped me tolerate those dark, 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 ugly, horrible, terrifying emotions that were flooding me at the time. But I stuck that on as an addendum because I realized people needed something biologically to help them start learning to tolerate these feeling states that they've been terrified of and running from their entire life. And it's very useful. Really, the deep breathing, really, really useful part of the tool. Now, I didn't have plans to go here today. But I sort of let my higher self and my subconscious lead me to where I want to lead you. And I just trust and allow that these parts of me are going to bring in whatever material is salient to share with you to help you in some way during each video. And so I sort of free fall with it. These are not scripted. I have a general sense of what I want to talk about, usually. But sometimes they take circuitous turns and detours that end up making them very rich and I guess perhaps more effective than they may have initially been intended to be. So I just trust that, and hopefully you have the patience to hang in here with me while I'm meandering on these journeys with you. Bathrobe monologues. Remember the vagina monologues? Some of my videos, I'm sort of semi-clothed. You'll notice that if you watch them. But here's the deal. I've gotten to a place in my life at this age where I'm a lot less concerned about the veneer. You know, this stuff. Than what's inside the package. What's inside the package feels rich and delightful and fascinating to me. And those are the parts I want to share with you each time we meet like this. So thank you for allowing me that. And I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing you soon. Take good care of you, and bye for now.